Hello, hockey fans. We are still in the first round of this year's playoffs, but I want to delve away from that for a moment. I did this last year, and I kind of want to do it again. It's the postmortem, if you will, for the teams who didn't make it to the big dance. And of course, I'm gonna do this by conference like I did last year, and I'll start with the Eastern Conference, hence the Quebec Nordiques cap. So let's take a look at the 8 teams in the East who didn't make it to the big dance. And I'm doing this in reverse standings order. I ask again, what the hell happened to this team? 2 years ago, they were in the Final Four for the second time in 3 years, and they had the President's Trophy that year. And then they got mollywopped by the Panthers somehow. And they let that get next to them because they totally bottomed out after that. And as bad as last year was, this year was somehow worse than that because they couldn't win at home. They were getting shut out at will at home. Now I don't know what's wrong with the team, but Ranger fans will give me an answer in the form of 2 words: Chris Drury, a name that means a lot to me as an Avs fan. But yeah, it's a mess, and they still have most of the players from that group. Sabanajad's there, and and Adam Fox, who won that Norris in 2020, he's still there, and of course Shesterkin. They're ruining him, and of course they sent quite a couple players to the Ducks, and we don't know how they're doing now, but something needs to be done in MSG because they are becoming a big punchline now, even bigger in New York than the Mets are right now in baseball. But yeah, things need to be fixed, and they may need Zordon to do it. Well, Leafs fans, I hope you're happy. I told you, don't trade Marner, and you traded Marner, and look what happened. You barely finished 1 point ahead of the worst team in the Eastern Conference. But as long as you traded the guy who you thought was holding you back, never mind the fact that he was the one thing holding the fort down when Matthews was out. Never mind that. You again listen to ungrateful fans who don't appreciate good players, and you dealt Marner away because it's not like the last 3 players you should have kept but trade away didn't win elsewhere. Larry Murphy, Phil Kessel, Nazem Kadri, just to name a few. And it gets crazier. And it gets crazier. The guy they traded Marner for, they dealt him. They dealt him to the Avalanche. He's still playing. Marner's still playing. But the Leafs are on vacation. First time in 10 years they missed the playoffs. I expect a lot of these seasons. This team is totally messed up. They need something. They need to fire Berube, but I don't think that may not help too much. Oh boy. Well, they're victims of circumstance, but they proved me right. This is not a deep team. Because think about it. With Barkov and Kachuk out for like a couple of months, because Barkov was out for the whole season, they struggled. And here they are, they're out of the playoffs. They couldn't put things back together. And of course, knowing them, they'll probably say, well, they probably won't do much because they'll say, well, we missed out because our 2 best players are out. Now that they're fully healthy, we don't have to do much. You're gonna have to add some pieces because this is not a deep team, and Marchand's not getting any younger. So yeah, I kind of expect Florida to miss out next year too. The East is just the East is getting pretty deep, especially that Atlantic division, and I can't see Florida surviving that pool. I hope Jack Hughes drinks in that golden goal because that's pretty much all he has this year. The Devils, they're a tricky bunch. I mean, you would think they would look good, but they kind of look at times. And this is coming off a playoff year last year. But who knows? Who knows what the Devils will do this offseason? Maybe they add some pieces. They kind of need to add some pieces. Just a couple more, and they can probably get back over that playoff line again. But it should be interesting to see what the Devils do, and hopefully Jack Hughes can kind of stay healthy. Cause I think he had some injury problems this year. He's had them like the last couple years, but if Hughes stays healthy, and they probably add a piece or two, we might see this team above the playoff line next year. I came to a conclusion about what 3, 4 years ago that the Islanders are one of the most boring teams in the league, and I say that even though during those like COVID years they made it to the Final Four both times, only to run to the brick wall that has the Tampa Bay Lightning. But they are a pretty stiff team. What do they really have that stands out other than Sorokin? Well, it was Patrick Waugh as head coach, but that's gone. They stupidly fired him, and now they got Peter DeBoer. Oh boy! See, that right there is why they missed the playoffs this year, because they actually had a chance. Then they fired Waugh, and now there's expect a lot of disappointment because Peter DeBoer's an idiot, and the Islanders still can't really score goals, so they have to rely on Sorokin to kind of really get shutouts a lot. Otherwise, they're not going to win. Yeah, the Islanders, their best chances are getting further and further behind them. Those years, 2020 and 21, those were their best chances to get something done. They couldn't get past Tampa, and now here they are stuck in some sort of weird limbo. They're not going to go anywhere. It's going to be this way for a good bit, especially as long as they have Peter DeBoer as coach. Oh, good grief. For the second straight year, the Columbus Blue Jackets were this close. Missed it by that much. They were this close, but couldn't get over that hump. They were eliminated in game 81, which is one game earlier than last year. But actually I'm wrong. Actually I'm wrong. That's the exact point. That's the exact same point as last year. But they were eliminated in game 81, and this team has promise. This team really has to promise. They've been knocking at that playoff door each of the last 2 years. They've been coming very, very close, but I'm just going to make the prediction. They'll be in the playoffs next year. They will. They were very close to making it. I think they have the right stuff. They might need one or two more pieces, but they will get there. I can see Columbus being in the playoffs next year. I really can. Remember when you couldn't get away from the Red Wings in the playoffs? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I still remember that. Death, taxes, and playoff hockey in Detroit. 25 straight years. They now have the longest running drought in the NHL. This now makes 10 years, a full decade, that the Red Wings have not been in the playoffs. And even worse, I think they've basically become the black sheep of the city. Think about it. The Pistons have become a bit of a juggernaut. The Lions got good, and the Tigers look good. The Red Wings, not so much. And they're doing the same thing Buffalo used to do. There will be promises of it's gonna be different. They're gonna make it, and nothing's happening. And they're gonna run Steve Eisman out of Detroit. They're gonna forget the fact that he got him cups as a player. Sports is a what have you done for me lately occupation, and Eisman hasn't done much for him. They're gonna run him out of they're gonna run him out of there, especially if he's back next year and the same thing happens. But some things need to change for the Red Wings. Like I said, it's been a full decade now since they made the playoffs. That's unacceptable in Detroit. Well, all I can say about the Capitals is this: Ovechkin needs to retire. He really does. I don't know why the hell he's sitting back mulling his future. There's nothing to mull. He got the record. He got the cup he's gonna get. Because let's face it, this team's not gonna win another one. Um, what the hell else is there to do? He needs to hang up. Unless he really is crazy enough to think I'm gonna stick around and be the first to get 1,000. He needs to retire. I think that's why the Capitals have been kind of struggling. Because again, I still say they lost early in the playoffs because they tried to help him get that record, and the residual effect is still lasting. Ovechkin needs to hang it up, and they dealt away Carlson too, which was crazy. But yeah, Washington, it's gonna be tough for him. It's gonna be really tough for him after this. And that is my Eastern Conference postmortem. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. If you want more, if you're on TikTok and Instagram, feel free to hit that follow button. I'll have a Western Conference postmortem in another video, but as far as today, I'll be back later tonight to recap tonight's Stanley Cup playoff games. So stay tuned for that.